West Coast swing world has a lot of guys like me and others that are just focused on West Coast swing. They're really wanting to progress, and progress in West Coast swing means making finals, going from novice to intermediate to advanced, and all that kind of stuff. That was a little different in your day from what I understand as far as how the point system worked, or did you go through any of that?
No, because we didn't have all the levels. We had, and the original idea of Jack and Jill came from a guy named Jack Carey. Jack Carey was surprisingly, actually he and a lady called Annie Hirsch, and then there was actually also Skippy Blair were considered like the godfather and the godmother of West Coast swing. Yeah. Jack, prior to dancing with Annie, had actually at one point been in a bowling league. And what happened was when they would go bowling, everybody would keep to their own teams and groups, and they never really like interacted with each other. And Jack and another guy, I forget, they said, well, why don't we do something just to break it up? Why not, instead of always being competitive and our team versus your team, why don't we do a little mix and match? Let's throw like all the guys' names in a hat or all the ladies' names in a hat, and then the opposite draws, and we just, those are your teams, whether it could be your own teammate or somebody from the other team. You bowl together, you are now competing against other teams like that, and that's where the term luck of the draw always came. Sometimes you might have a really good bowler, sometimes not. And so he actually is the one who carried it over into West Coast swing. Well, back in the very beginning, it was just like a Jack and Jill. That was it. There was no levels. And then as more and more dancers came in and they started progressing, not by points, but by working on their dance, you started seeing, okay, this is what we would term as an advanced dancer. There's an intermediate, and then there's a novice dancer, beginner. Well, at first they would have like invitationals, which was usually the top and the pros. Again, no points were really kept. There was no such thing as that until the World Swing Dance Council started, but then that didn't even start at the beginning of the World Swing Dance Council. That was later when we started having more and more people. It's like, okay, how do we decide to progress them? Because anybody could say, oh, I just want to compete at the advanced level. Well, you're not really an advanced dancer, you know?
I was watching the event. It was in Sacramento, I believe. And this girl, they were dancing. So I stopped. I just waited till it was all over. Asked her if she would mind talking to me a little bit. And so I said, how long have you been dancing? And she said, oh, I just learned. I just learned it. And I said, and why particularly were you in
the contest?
In the advanced division? She said, well, I wanted a good partner. And I said, yeah. And
So did he.
So did he. And that was exactly my answer. Yeah. That's exactly what we looked for.
That was the beginning of the points. Yeah.
You know? And then you would have other people that were like had been dancing for a long time but had never competed. So they could be considered a novice at competition, but their level of dance was advanced. And so that's one of the things that people get confused about the point system is it doesn't mean that that's necessarily your level of dance. It's your level of dance competition experience. So anybody could be an advanced dancer that's been dancing 20, 30 years, but they've never competed, so they don't have any points.
Right.
Guess where they're starting? Novice. But if they're an advanced dancer, they're gonna win-win, place out, win-win, intermediate, place out, win-win, place out. So that's the one thing that sometimes people get confused, that the competition in West Coast swing is not based necessarily on your level of dance. It's your competition experience.
Yes.